What's going on, you wonderful people, and welcome back to the channel. When most people think about Pokemon, they think about a Charizard, an Eevee, a Pikachu, and all kinds of popular Pokemon that became fan favorites over the years. Pokemon is pretty child friendly and it's pretty happy overall. But today we're gonna change that, because believe it or not, Nintendo and Game Freak actually snuck in some devastating lore about some Pokemons, and that's what we're gonna discuss today. So I hope you have a box of tissues with you, because this is gonna get heavy. The story of Cubone is easily one of the most famous tragedies in the Pokemon community. And to be honest, I completely understand why that is. According to multiple Pokédex entries, Cubone is known as the lonely Pokemon. You know the skull he wears over his head, right? A lot of people probably know this by now. The skull that Cubones wear isn't just any helmet or any design choice, this is actually the skull of its passed away mother. Every single Cubone is just a little guy wandering the world wearing the skeletal remains of its mother. And the lore gets worse. The Pokédex also says that when Cubone feels lonely, it hides in its skull and starts crying. And the stains on the skull are actually just tear marks from past crying events. The sad part is when Cubone cries really loud inside of the skull, it echoes inside of there. Then Cubone mistakes it for its mother's voice, causing it to cry even harder. It is an animal that will never escape the loop of mourning. But while Cubone is trapped in a cycle of grief over his tragic loss, our next Pokemon is fueled by something much sharper, total betrayal, and he's looking for revenge. We've all had those like toys when we were growing up, right? Probably everyone has one favorite toy, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys don't even know where that toy is by now. Me included. We have the toy, we grow up, we lose it, or we just throw it in the trash. And that is exactly what happened here. Banette's Pokédex entry explicitly says that it was just a regular plush doll that was thrown into the trash by its owner. And eventually, the sheer amount of loneliness, resentment, and even hatred towards the owner started manifesting as some kind of life energy, transforming this doll into the ghost-type Pokemon we know today. The zipper on his mouth keeps the cursed energy bound within his own body. Banette sticks needles into its own skin just to regenerate power for strong curses. And the only purpose he has is to wander dark alleyways in search of the child that originally threw him away. It is pure vengeance. Now, the only thing that is worse than dedicating your life to vengeance is to have the life you've always wanted, losing it, and never getting it back. This is Yamask's story. First of all, let's state that Yamask was originally a living, breathing human being. His Pokédex entry states that Yamasks are formed from the spirits that died and were buried ages ago. They weren't able to move to the afterlife and were bound to Earth instead. The golden masks that Yamasks hold everywhere they go are actually replicas of their original face back from when they were human. Unfortunately, he is no longer human. He is now a shadowy, floating creature that is cursed to retain all of his human memories. Yes, they remember everything from their human lives. They remember their family, their job, their dreams, their name, but he will never be able to get those back. The Pokédex also states that Yamask looks a lot at his mask, making him think about his human life and crying about it. This creature is doomed to look at what it used to be and then cry over its lost life forever. This next Pokemon represents the exact same thing, but of an innocent child. According to the Pokédex, Phantom are created when a child gets lost in the forest and perishes due to exposure or hunger. After the child passes away, their spirits start possessing a rotten tree stump, giving birth to this Pokemon. Just think about how terrifying that must have been. Phantom's Pokédex entries also note that its cries sound like the voice of a screaming child. Phantom is not trying to be scary. The lore states that Phantom imitates the voices of children because it is still trying to call out for help, unintentionally luring people deeper into the forest where they share the exact same fate. While Phantom represents a tragic, heartbreaking end to a young life, the number one spot is a living, ongoing nightmare of absolute isolation. Mimikyu is a small, lonely Pokemon that lives in the dark corners of the Alola region, but he has a terrifying curse. Mimikyu's true appearance is so horrifying that people die of shock or get an illness when seeing him. One Pokédex entry even says that one trainer saw his true shape and died the exact same night. But Mimikyu never wanted to be alone. It wandered around and saw how much the world loved Pikachu. So in a desperate attempt to make friends, Mimikyu found himself an old dirty rag. It drew a crude Pikachu face on the rag and it used a stick for a tail and then covered his true self up. He never wanted to mock Pikachu with this. He wanted to look like him because if I look like the thing they love, they might love me too. If his rag gets damaged or his head even droops, It will stay up all night crying inside of the costume, desperately trying to patch it back up so people won't forget about him or love him any less. It hides its true self out of fear just to get a little crumble of human affection. And to me, that is the most heartbreaking thing in all of Pokemon. So the next time you're playing any Pokemon game, remember to give these guys also a bit of love. I think they more than deserve it. Anyways, if there's any backstories that I have to research, or if there's any backstories that I've forgotten about, let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and also drop a sub if you want to help me out. It does way more than you think, by the way. And hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Yo! Woo!